What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the No Cap Space, a very special edition of Luxury Tax today. Tyler Greer and Olivia Miles of Notre Dame is in the building. Olivia, thank you so much for taking the time with us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited.
Well, you were just outside. You were just at the WNBA Chicago Sky game first. Just how was your experience? I don't feel like you probably often get to go be a fan at a basketball game. So like how just take us through how did you enjoy your time in Chicago?
Yeah, I mean, it was fun. Actually, me and my coach who went with me, we were like, we don't know what it's like being on the other side of it. We were looking for the doors and stuff where to enter. And because we always just go, right through the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
So it was different, like you said, being a fan, but it was so fun to be courtside, see a bunch of girls that I either played against or played with, and just cheer on a local team in Chicago. And, hopefully my aspirations to play in the WA come to fruition, and then I'll be drafted to a team like that.
Yeah.
I would imagine that you're a phenomenal player. So I know that wasn't your first time going to a WNBA game, but this year is different in the WNBA. So I was just curious, what was last night like? Talk about the energy and environment of last night versus the previous seasons that you've gone to WNBA games.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I have to admit, like even before, I went to when the Chicago Sky were in the playoffs with Candace and and all
It
them.
was lit.
And it was jumping in there.
Yeah, it was probably pretty lit.
And that was before the surge.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, like even Angel being out, Chicago still showed up. They supported their team. And the energy is just different, as you mentioned. People are really showing up for their team. I was saying like it's a random Wednesday night, in the middle of a work week that people still, show up with their family, with their kids. That just shows the dedication and how far women's basketball has grown for sure.
You mentioned the surge, and I know I can't wait for new fans that might just be coming in to get to see you hoop. I can't wait because you are one of, if not the most exciting hoopers in the nation right now. So, and your style of play. So, like for you, when it comes to like you now are able to kind of step into this surge in kind of a unique way with the situation, how it's all gone so far for you. So, like, what is the excitement level of just being able to almost reintroduce yourself in a way, like to whether it even be to old fans, that like listen, it's been a minute, or the new fans that maybe this is the first time they're seeing Olivia Miles hoop, because I know I'm excited, so I can imagine how it is for you. So what is the kind of feeling for you of just being able to reintroduce yourself to the country as a whole?
Yeah, it's surreal. I've been waiting a year and a half to do it. Sitting out really lit a fire under me, and there's a passion in my heart that I can't wait to put on display. But I was just talking to Coach Ivy about how in the next few weeks I'm going to need some melatonin to sleep because I won't be able to close my eyes and really focus. So I'm really excited. I'm already jittery. I'm already nervous thinking about, being in the game. Like even last night I could, feel myself in those plays and in those actions that they were running, and just getting up and down the floor and having fun. I just can't wait.
So yeah, you've been out a year and a half, like you said. I'm curious what you learned about yourself over that time and what you've learned about the game over that time as well.
Yeah, I guess I'll start with the self. I think before I got hurt, I was so like basketball, which is great. We eat, sleep, and breathe basketball, but I kind of learned that there's a whole other part to my identity, and basketball didn't define me. I was able to kind of step back and be grateful from a different lens and appreciate the qualities about myself that I really didn't, learn to know or develop. So I'm very grateful that I had that time to do that. And then in terms of basketball, I just was able to be a coach. I was able to learn my teammates in a different way. On the court, it's always so heat of the moment. You never really get to take a step back and be like, okay, what might she need in this moment? Or what might, Coach Ivy need in this moment? Being able to like be out of the action, be out of the fire, and kind of look at it from an outside perspective. I learned, ways that I can help my team and ways that I can help myself, when I do return to the game.
Yeah, I find it interesting you mentioned kind of like the different perspective aspect of this, because I feel like this team, like as a whole, has had so many unique challenges that they've had to go through, whether it be players being out and then players that are in different positions that they might not be used to, so on and so forth. And like, I feel like that's something you can only truly gain through experience, like the mentality of that and kind of going through those trials and tribulations. How do those challenges and now for your team kind of as a whole, and obviously it's going to be different for each individual, but like, has there been kind of a team mentality now that you feel like is unique to this team right now because of all the challenges that the past 2 years or so have kind of put them through?
Oh, absolutely. It's an added chip on our shoulder. They battled, I was so proud of them last year, with 6 or 7 healthy, going deep into the tournament, facing some really tough teams, really tough ACC, conference schedule. They battled it out. And, that's the adversity that Coach Ivy always talks about. It's always going to hit us at some point in one form or another. But she always reassures us that, her team did it with 6, and the 2018 national champs did it with 6 also. So that adversity, it can be overcome. We just got to find a will and find a way. And I think our team is kind of learning that through our experience, as you mentioned. We have a lot of youngsters, but luckily this year we got 2 new grad transfers who bring a lot of wisdom and expertise and can help us with that, veteran perspective and get us through those challenges.
Yeah, you guys are an incredibly experienced team, I think, coming into the year, and you bring up ACC play and you bring up the transfer portal players that you picked up. Liatu King is like a player I think you should be very familiar with because she was going to Pitt before she transferred to Notre Dame. So what, as an opponent, like, did you see about her game? And then now that you've been practicing alongside her, do you still have those same impressions, or what's changed in your mind about her?
Yeah, I mean, watching her this past year, obviously I didn't get to play against her, but she had 30 on us, like an easy 30, and there was nothing we could do about it. So I was always just so impressed with the way she hunted for her shot and was able to get offensive rebounds, and that has definitely carried into our practices. I'm always confident when I throw up a shot that she's going to go grab it, or when I hit her on a dime, she's going to finish the play for me. So I'm just so impressed with the way that she's kind of translated those skills. I know it's 2 completely different programs, and she's adjusting to that. But she's been doing so incredibly well and bringing her leadership and her expertise with her as well.
You've mentioned also Coach Ivy several times, and I don't think it's any secret, like the relationship and everything. Like you guys are tight. So as you've now kind of come back into the fold of things, and well, really, even if you want to go back to like the coaching aspect, where you said you got to be a coach, how were those conversations kind of happening with you and Niele, and how did she kind of work you in and because I feel like I'd imagine it can be hard at times to stay involved and in the loop with everything. So how has that kind of relationship with Coach Ivy maybe evolved even, with your time out and now that you're entering back into the court as her point guard? How has that relationship kind of evolved over the past year or so?
Yeah, what I love about Coach Ivy is she never puts pressure on anything. I think she wanted me to kind of take my time with, adjusting to the year being out. But as soon as I was like, Coach, I want to be involved, like you said, it is difficult to get involved. But as soon as I, communicated to her that I wanted to either help out or write down stats or record certain things, she was, very easy to set that up with. So she got me going with a few things, and it kind of led into me, writing down stats, tracking stats, and then it sort of led into me communicating with them at halftime, during timeouts and stuff. So I got more comfortable as the time went on. And that's just a testament to the relationship that we have, that we're able to kind of communicate that way. And I can tell her, what I think, and she can listen in that moment, especially in big games.
Yeah.
Why would she want to listen to me? That just shows me that she really trusts and she cares about what I have to say. And she knows that my perspective is coming from a good place and an informed place. So, yeah.
You mentioned that, her, when she was in college, like they won with a limited roster. In 18, they won with a limited roster. That, for now anyway, is, knock on wood, not the case for this team, right? Like at the guard position alone, you guys are incredibly deep.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say historically, like that's kind of been the MO on Notre Dame. Like there's been no shortage of talent at the guard position. How are you guys all like collaborating, working together to, get back to being a national champion and just like work on your goals as progress as the season goes along?
Yeah, Notre Dame is guard you. No matter what anyone says, it's guard you. So that's the reason you come, and you're gonna get coached by great guards. For example, Coach Ivy. So, with me, Hannah, and Sony, we know that when all 3 of us work, it's unstoppable, and there's not another trio in the country of guards that can stop us. And we're kind of working to get that chemistry now. Just me coming back in, implementing back into the team and with them. But our chemistry is building every day, and it's incredible right now. And obviously the goal is a national championship, but we want to take care of the daily stuff every day in the process of getting there. And once we do that, I feel like we'll go really far.
You mentioned Hannah there, and I mean, took the country by storm last year as a freshman. From my odds, probably the best freshman class we've seen, period. And she was right at the top of that. Just as like a hoop head and like a basketball fan, like I guess I keep kind of going back to this, but like I know I'm incredibly excited as someone on the outside looking in to see this team this year with the amount of talent you guys have. For you as someone that's is that talent and getting to play alongside Hannah, just what is just even just as a basketball like fan yourself, what is the excitement levels for that specifically? Just being able to have you and Hannah both on the court at the same time.
Yeah, it's part of why I'm so jittery and so nervous. It's because I can't wait to get out there with another dynamic guard who just controls the floor and controls the tempo and demands such a presence on the floor that will ultimately open up so many things for not only me but like I said for Sony as well and the rest of our team. So she's just incredible the way she moves and just I just get amazed just watching her play defense and score the ball and I'm just excited to kind of dish it off to her in transition and she goes and lays someone for an and one. Like it's gonna be a movie. Like I don't think I don't think people really understand or are ready for it. And I think a lot of people are rooting against us in that way because they don't want to see it happen. It will happen and we're coming. Just get ready.
Yeah.
Back to her season last year, because Tyler said it, just like a phenomenal freshman season. Like, how early in her season did you know, like, oh, not only is she competing for like National Freshman of the Year, like she's one of the best players in the country?
Yeah, I think it was our scrimmage against our practice boys before anyone even saw anything. And she had 30 on them. And I was like, oh, God. Oh, God. And that was before she had even, like, been in a college game, a college setting. And she, the way she, like I said, the way she moves is just different. Like, there's just a different presence about her. And she just dominates in whatever game she's in against, big boys, 6'4" boys, strong, fast. She was still cooking them and that's her little freshman self. Not a freshman anymore, but she was doing big things. So that's
like that's like the worst she's gonna be, which feels insane to say. But you mentioned earlier the chip on the shoulder that has been able to be formed. Even in that answer just now with the Hannah, like people don't want to see it. I'd be terrified too if I had to see it. If I see that scouting report, I'm terrified. I'm glad I get to talk about it and not have to try and figure it out. I'm very happy with my position here. How do you take this chip now? And you have this chip on your shoulder, and it's like I got to speak with Maddie Westbeld on a separate project, and like it was there as well. Like it is very clearly a team wide. Like we're coming. How do you transition that from a mentality to a product on the court? What is like the day to day, whether it be in practice or anything? How do you make that into a result now?
Yeah, I think it starts with our leaders. It starts with me, Maddie, and Sony. I think we use that chip as motivation, and Coach Ivy, she really helps us and has our back with us. Whether that's like when we lead drills and we set the precedent of like we're not losing this drill, or we're not like leaving the gym until we get this done. It's just a different mindset now that we're never gonna end practice on a loss and a drill on a loss. It's just that winning mentality. And that chip will give us motivation and give us extra fuel, to push through and remember those times in practice where we're not coming short in any way. We're going to cross the line and we're going to finish and we're going to do it together. So yeah, like I said, I think it starts with our leaders leading by example, using that fuel and kind of making it known and physically doing it in practice. So then when we get in the game, it's an easy transition.
You talk about leaders and I think the Notre Dame coaching staff is like one of the most unique in the country, right? Like you have Niele who, played there, coach under Muffet for a very long time, also has some experience on the NBA side, but like right behind her, you have Michaela, right? And, for those who are just tuning in, like Michaela was also one of those guards for Notre Dame historically. What is it like? How proud are you that Notre Dame, when it comes to women's basketball, is like always putting women at the forefront?
Yeah, no, I think that was Coach McGraw's message. She always wanted women around her. And I think Coach Ivy has done a good job of continuing that message and continuing her intention. That's one of the big reasons why I wanted to play for Coach Ivy. It's just because she's a powerful Black woman, and I wanted to learn from her. And she always carries other powerful women on her staff. But now we do have Los, who you guys have probably seen. We love him a lot. But it doesn't ever take away from the power that those four women, yeah, they have, and they lead us every day, and they show us how to be successful in certain careers and in basketball and in life, and as mothers, as daughters, as sisters. So they're just so impactful and influential, and I'm so grateful to have them to look up to every day.
And on top of that, they know how to be pros. And you mentioned at the top of this that the WNBA is obviously that is the goal right now. So obviously there's so many team goals and team things that you want to accomplish this year, and the expectations, like you said, are national championship. So obviously the bar is as high as it could possibly be on a team level. For you on an individual level, as obviously as you work back into everything, and once I think especially once you kind of get those first couple of games under your belt, and you mentioned the jitters and everything. When it comes to making yourself the best pro player that you can be and finding that development right now, where do you see, after you worked back in and everything, where do you kind of see like, okay, if I want to be the best WNBA player that I can be, I need to work on this right now? What do you feel like that is for you?
Yeah, I mentioned Los. We actually talk about this every day. He literally texts me every day, come in and be a pro today. He's already training that mindset in me. But I think the one thing that I would be lethal at, need to be lethal at to be, a long living WNBA guard is definitely shooting when guards go under the screen, the three. Hitting that three off the screen is going to be like crazy addition to my game because that'll open up so much more for me. And I've been working on that literally the entire time that I've been out, and just gaining that confidence and getting those reps to shoot those confidently. So that's definitely the number one thing that I really want to work on. And I've also been working on my mid-range, but the three, it comes first in the sense that it'll open up so much more for me. And obviously you guys know I love to pass. So those windows will be a lot more open if I can have guards chasing me instead of just slipping right under the screen.
This rookie class of the WNBA has like adjusted very well. So like my logic is like, there's more coming that are just like that, who are going to slot in and be impactful from day one. We talked about what you're working on right now, but what is it about your game right now that also translates really well to the W?
Yeah, I think my passing, my finishing ability translates to the game really well. Obviously, I can get the ball to anyone at any time, and I really pride myself on that. I feel like that's what kind of makes me different, sets me apart. So yeah, I think those two things really translate well. Like I said, I still need to kind of develop confidence in other areas of my game, as everyone does. And I'm definitely working towards that, and I'm excited to make that transition to the league and see how it all plays out. And other things will come up that I need to work on and adjust to, like the rookies have this year. And like you said, they've done a good job, so I'm confident that I'll have people around me to help me kind of adjust as well.
Olivia, we're so appreciative of your time. We one more for you, just to wrap it up here.
Let's go.
It seems like the mentality of this team is different. It feels like every year, especially like if you look at your time at Notre Dame, it kind of feels like it's been building to this year, where everything has kind of played out. Like this feels like the one.
Yep.
For Notre Dame fans, for women's college basketball fans, what should they expect from this team specifically this year out of Notre Dame?
Just fire, passion, gratitude, and appreciation. And we're going to go out there and we're going to fight. Obviously, as our name implies, Fighting Irish, we're going to go fight, and we're going to go and battle it out every day. We have a bunch of dogs on our team who, this could be the last run. And that's the mentality. This could be the last run. So we just want to make the best out of it. And we want to play with a grace and a respect for the game and our opponents. But we want to go out there and dominate every single play. So that's what you should expect.
There you go. Olivia, we're so thankful for your time and everything. We're so excited, genuinely, to see you back out on the court. I know we're itching for it too, so I can only imagine how you're feeling with it, but we're excited. It's always an open door here at the No Cap Space, and thank you so much for tapping in with us.
Thanks again. Thank you for having me.
All right, y'all. Well, make sure you stay tapped into everything No Cap Space, the Substack, the YouTube, Twitter, everything, all down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.